And welcome back to Inside the Valley on this Sunday morning. Well, right now we're going to be talking to the folks from CASA of Hidalgo County about their 20th annual Candlelight Vigil for child abuse awareness. That's coming up real soon. To talk a little bit more about what it is, what CASA of Hidalgo County is, and of course the 20th annual Candlelight Vigil for child abuse awareness, we have Diana Almaguer on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So let's first of all talk about CASA of Hidalgo County, what it is that you guys do there.
Okay, CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates of Hidalgo County. We've been in existence for over 33 years now, and we are a volunteer-based organization where volunteers from the community like yourself pretty much come into the office, complete 30 hours of training. They are sworn in by a state judge, and they represent children and speak for their best interest in the Child Protection Court.
Okay.
So right now, unfortunately, we have about a little bit over 600 children in the foster care system, and our agency is currently working with approximately 215 of those children.
And that's all right here in the Valley?
All in Hidalgo County, from Hidalgo County.
In Hidalgo County. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
The numbers are you wouldn't think that Hidalgo County would have high numbers, but for the past few years, we've been one of the top 10 counties with the most number of children in the foster care system, victims, unfortunately child death, investigations. So again, you think Hidalgo County, we're down here in the area, why would Hidalgo County be up there with Harris County, Travis County, those big counties? But we are always in one of the top 10 counties with the most number of children.
And we don't really know why. It's just
right. No, we don't.
Right.
We don't. And that's where our organization comes in. We work with these children. We try to make sure that they don't fall through the cracks of the foster care system. They have each volunteer advocates for one group of siblings. So the siblings could be two children. The focus of that volunteer is just to make contact with anybody involved with those two children, find out from their teachers, find out from therapists, from CPS, what that child needs, because these children are removed, placed in the foster care system, and they're appointed a guardian ad litem and an attorney ad litem.
Right.
The attorney ad litem will say, well, Diana wants to go home. And the guardian ad litem, CASA, will say, well, Diana wants to go home, but mom hasn't finished her services yet. So it's not in the best interest for Diana to return to that home.
Right.
So that's where our volunteers play such an important role. And like I said, right now we have about 82 volunteers currently in the organization. Of course, the more volunteers we have in the organization, the more children we're able to advocate for.
And currently you said you're advocating for just over 200.
Correct.
And out of those 200, how many are you able to place into permanent families?
Well, more or less about maybe 80 of those children will be placed back either with kinship, being any relatives that will be willing to take these children, or sometimes even with their parents, back with their parents. So because every parent, you know, CPS is out there to investigate, ensure these children are safe, but at the same time, maybe this parent just needed a little bit of parenting. You know, they didn't know how to raise this child. They didn't know how to discipline this child. So those services are offered to them.
What would happen with if a child did go back to that parent after, say, parenting classes? What would happen then? Would you guys still be kind of with that child, kind of monitoring the child, seeing the progression, or would that just be strictly CPS?
No, that would pretty much, if the judge closes the case and says the children are ready to return home, and we are no longer placed on the case. We do have situations where some of our former foster children, especially the teens, still have contact with their volunteers, which is great because it allows us to keep an eye out, you know, in case something, because I don't believe that it's just CPS having to take care of this, but I think it's the whole community coming together and being the eyes, because CPS will go and investigate and determine their services are needed, but us as a community, you know, if I see the child in danger, I cannot just sit back and say, well, you know, CPS is going to take care of it. No, they're, like I said, our volunteers have come forward because to them, they wanted to do something more than just listen to the news and say, okay, well, there's another child victim, you know, what can we do? So that's where a lot of our volunteers come forward and say, I want to be that, I want to be there for those kids.
Now, what age groups do you work with? Is from toddler all the way up to 16, 18?
Until 18.
Until 18.
Sometimes after 18, if they decide to remain with a foster parent, because these children, when they turn 18, they can remain in the home with a foster parent if they're willing to. Okay.
Now let's move on here and talk about the 20th annual Candlelight Vigil that you have for child abuse awareness, which is going to be coming up here. Of course, CASA of Hidalgo County very involved. Let's talk about the 20th annual that you have coming up here and what it's all about.
It's the vigil is to bring awareness of child abuse. April is Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Right.
And like I said, unfortunately, from the prior year we had 8 child deaths. Now we have 11. You know, we need to bring awareness to child abuse, and what we can all do as a community. We have a former foster child who will be a speaker at the event and discuss, pretty much what they went through and the help that they needed when they were going through that. So it's a lot of us getting together, a lot of other agencies, child placing agencies that work with the foster children, CPS who works with the foster children, other agencies that are involved in making sure that these children have a voice.
What is it that we can do as a community that can help out?
We can make the call. You don't have to investigate the abuse or neglect. That's what CPS is for.
Right.
But myself, if I see a child that's left in a vehicle, I'm going to call the police. If I see that my neighbor's child, I hear constant crying, I see injuries on the child. The weather right now, if it's hot outside and they're wearing sweaters all the time, doesn't necessarily mean, but make that call.
It's suspicious.
Right. Make that call.
So don't wait until it's too late. If you see
Right.
something you feel might be suspicious or you just don't have a comfortable feeling in your stomach, be sure to make that call.
Right.
Now let's talk about when the event's going to be. Where is it as well?
It is going to be, we have a walk that starts at CASA of Hidalgo County, which is not even a mile from the courthouse. Some people have asked me, I don't want to walk that much.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a long walk, but we start at 5:45 from CASA of Hidalgo County, and we start the event at 6:30. So there's a group of us that walk on over to the courthouse, and once we get there at 6:30, we start the event. Like I said, it's more of community leaders coming out and speaking about the problem. And again, it's Child Abuse Awareness Month, and we want people to be aware all the time, right? Every month of the year. But again, April is designated for Child Abuse Awareness.
And what date in April?
I'm sorry, that is going to be next Thursday on April 6th.
April 6th. Okay, great. Now, I got a question too, because you said you are always looking for more volunteers. That way you can always help more kids.
Right.
How can people get involved? Do they just call you? Do they show up? Or how does that kind of
Yes,
work?
they can call they can call us at 381-0346. They can also stop by and have a cup of coffee with us,
Sure.
and we can inform them more about what you have to be at least 21 years of age. You have to pass an FBI fingerprint background check and no CPS history. And then
Right.
we start our trainings. Our next training is scheduled for May.
Okay.
So we still have we have time for you to come in and either inquire or send an application, whichever the volunteer, the potential volunteer wants to.
And you said it's 30 hours of training, so it's pretty
Correct.
quick, and then that way you can get out and you can help the kids as well in the
Right,
community.
right.
Excellent. Again, folks, if you have any questions or would like to know a little bit more information, log on to Facebook right now. Go to CASA of Hidalgo County. You can see a little bit more information about what they do there. Also, you can find out some information about the 20th Annual Candlelight Vigil for Child Abuse Awareness. Deanna, I would like to thank you so much for being on the show on this Sunday morning. Keep up the great work that you're doing for all the kids in Hidalgo County.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Folks, don't go anywhere on this Sunday morning. When we come back, we're going to be talking about STEM Earth Day Fest because it's quickly approaching. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great event. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. Don't go anywhere.